We're recommended to council, we're into, item, 7 now, old business.
Yeah, just an update on the planning commission work plan. The council approved the planning commission work plan. One request they made was that the highway sign district zoning regulations be put to the top of the list.
Right.
We are putting to the top of the list now.
Good, yep, good.
And as you can see, I have that as number 8, and
Yeah.
I really don't have too much for you since I have.
I know, you've been ill, I know, Paula said you've been ill.
Yeah, we thought it was an isolated incident, but.
Well, thank you for making it here tonight, because that was big help to have you here tonight, so.
We do have that, we do have copies of
Okay.
the signed, work plan, and also I have an unsigned copy of ordinance number 2015-1897, which, changes the requirements, or adjusts the requirements of the planning commission, and member in the back of your.
Yeah, that was approved by council last night. It'll be effective coming your next planning commission meeting.
Okay, good.
And that'll be, the way it's set up is that there'll be 6 full-term members now and 1 youth member. Out of the 6 full-term members, 2 of the full-term members can be business owners or employees of business owners within Pacific. They can apply to be on the plan.
Good, well, that's very appropriate, you know.
So have we moved on to some, are we past highway sign district? Or
Not yet, we were just taking care of the commission work plan.
Yeah.
So that's just an update on that.
Okay, so we're expecting, 7 normals, 7.
Maybe 7, that way if there's employees. So we'll move on to the highway sign district unless you have more questions on the sign commission work plan. Just let you know, pardon? Yeah.
Good.
I don't really have much in the way for you right now. All I can say is that we're reviewing the fire regulations and the information that's been put together, plus the planning commission minutes. Part of the information will be reviewed relative to the HOV improvements on SR 167. I heard a rumor, and we got from Jerry, that there may be sound walls that be put up along 167. But
Really?
But typically those are only along residential corridors and properties, not commercial properties, so it may not have effect. There's a meeting Thursday from 4 to 5 here at City, or is it over here in the gym, regarding the, was it the West Valley or the, I think, no, I'm trying to remember, it was the SR 167. And they'll be looking at, it's an open house, you can take a look at. I believe that was
The hot lane?
Yeah.
When is that?
HOV lane, it's 4 to 5 on Thursday. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy. The only copy I had of it, Councilmember Steyer gave to me, and I had to give it back to him. Unfortunately, I didn't get another copy to give to the planning commission.
It's 4 to 5 on Thursday.
Yeah, and actually what I can do is, well, I'll ask Jim Morgan, our city engineer, see if there's a PDF file, and we can have it emailed to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can give you a call and let you know on that. But I'll be reviewing the information that was put together before. One of the main concerns is just my brief look at it is ensure that it's not so complex, it's hard to administer. If we're going to adopt the highway signage regulations, we want something that's relatively simple and easy to administer, both for staff and also for the businesses to be able to understand what's being proposed. The worst thing you can do is put together a complicated regulation and trying to interpret it after the fact.
Well, I mean, because I know they discussed elevation, it's like, well, how do you know what the elevation is, you know?
City of SeaTac, what they did with their highway, with their very few commercial businesses next to the freeway, they set it up so that they had a maximum sign height of 15 feet, 85 square feet per sign, for a monument sign or freestanding sign, whichever it may be. They set it up as that the sign height of 15 feet is based height of the adjacent road bed itself, I mean, paved road. So if the property was lower, then the property owner would have to determine the elevation of that road bed, and then they could go 15 feet up from there.
Well, that's reasonable.
So
Yes, yeah.
in all actuality, the property may be 4 feet below the road bed, but the sign is 15 feet above, and all
Plus
actually
another 4, yeah,
be
right.
19 feet
Yeah.
from the property level, but from the road level, it's
Yeah.
15 feet. Now, they had a maximum height of 25 feet regardless of what that would be. So
From the road level.
From the road level.
Yeah, yeah.
So that they didn't have they didn't want all the big tall signs. And if you ever have a chance, if you're driving northbound on I-5, as you come towards the 200th Street exit.
Yep,
you
I
can
know
see
that well.
You got the Shell station.
Yep, and the coffee and the Java or whatever.
Those signs were installed in relationship to that regulation.
Okay.
So if you want to get an idea of how that looks, you can drive by there, do it. The other thing that...
So it's a minimum of 15, a max of 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
Max of 25 from the floor of the business or from the road bed?
No, from the road
Road
bed.
bed.
Total.
Because they're down in a hole there, it's
Right.
down quite a ways, and so they
Take the
probably
freeway
got...
elevation.
Well, let me back, it's 25 total from the original property.
That's
So
what I was
that's-
saying,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
what-
25.
Oh, you have a minimum if you go to 25 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be
Yeah.
15 above.
So if you have a...
15 above the road bed or total 25.
Yeah,
So maximum.
so if your property was 10 feet below the road bed, you can go 25 and still have that.
All right.
But you only go 15 to the top of the sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if it was on a building?
Well, the building is different. The building has a facade sign, and depending on the city you're in, you get a certain amount of facade signage based on the square footage of the facade. So if it's on the building, it makes a difference. It's on the building. It's kind of like the quality end. You can see as you go up down, northbound, or actually southbound a little bit too, but more northbound on 167, you can see the quality in the sign on the face of the building really easily. So you know it's there.
Barely compared to King Oscar. What was the deal? King Oscar's was much bigger.
Well, it depends on the company and how they want their corporate signage to look like.
We didn't make them reduce the...
I don't think so. I don't know what the particulars on that.
10% of your facade.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 10%.
And their logo is less large.
Yeah, it's on
So
that.
I guess in order to fit the logo in, they,
They're way past their code. Those letters were 8 foot tall.
So,
The King Oscar ones were?
They scrapped them, I know.
yeah, so the quality and put in a smaller sign, that was their
That's all.
call.
So as far as height goes though, that if you have a 3 or 4 story building there, they're not limited, it's a facade.
Yeah.
you're limited by the building height in the area,
Yeah.
and then I think there's a little tolerance for under roof.
Well, what you have
You
is
can call
that,
it wrong.
you have the parapet that you can count in, but the other thing in our code that hasn't been quite looked closely at is that if a property has more than one street frontage, they can have up to 2 pole signs or monument signs. In the past, apparently, it wasn't interpreted that SR 167 was a road.
That's the first thing I thought, I was like,
And the thing
frontage
is-
167.
And the thing is that by our definition within our code, 167 is a street. So the properties that have frontage on both West Valley and on 167 can actually have 2 monuments on it. One off of 167 and one off of,
Well, that's, you know,
and one off of.
I don't want anybody coming to my shop anyway, so.
But in any event, we'll take a whole look at it. We know it's out there now. It's proposed to be 150 square feet. We'll take a look at that, and take another look at that, and we'll run it by the planning commission again. And if it's ultimately it's the city council and will make the legislative decision on how big of signs you want. The only thing else I caution is that if we go to much larger signs than we have in the code, and it's been in the code for a while, and people are used to the 85 square foot signs, especially properties that are off of 167 and not close to it, they're going to start coming in wondering, why don't we get our 150 square foot sign? You're getting other property owners an unfair advantage. We just wanna be cognizant of that. If the council wants to say 150, fine. The other thing is that if you go to bigger signage, and that sign is going to be there for a long time. And if it turns out that that isn't really what we envisioned for signage for the city, that's there. So that's something to take care of. But, you know, we'll take a look, we'll see what, and I'll try to pull out pictures to give a comparative, and maybe Jerry can help me on that, what an 85 square foot sign is versus a 150 square foot sign, because you're looking at
Well, who said
roughly
it,
90%
who
change.
said it at 150 square feet?
Somebody said it at 150, so that's what it's at right now.
Well, that's why I'd like to get that presentation that we had,
Yeah.
that
That's
Jim
the
had
Jack
put.
in the Box size, so that, they're not,
Yeah, I don't know,
they're over the size of a cone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
because
went missing for a while.
there was a really good packet put together, I mean, and it had all Jim's stuff
Yeah.
in it, it had the pictures, and it had everything we had done up to that point.
Yeah.
You even have an ordinance, we can find that, I guess.
Yeah, we have.
Really?
We have that, and we'll pull
Yeah,
that information
but
together and review it again,
Not
and
here,
come out.
again.
I should go back through my old records, 'cause,
Yeah,
you know, I don't
it-
throw
like-
anything away.
Quite frankly, in terms of the regulations, I'm not gonna throw out what has been done in the past. If it's
Mhm.
there and good information, and, you know, it's
Sure.
likely that will,
Yeah.
for the right.
But it's good to have multiple perspectives, you know, so,
Mhm.
you know, Jim had a chance at it, and now you get a whack at it.
Well,
and-
what he was doing is really gathering, I mean,
Yeah,
gathering
right.
the
Yes, he
information
was,
to make
yeah.
a decision. I
Right.
don't think there was anything nailed down, but
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of information in there
There was.
about the heights and what
Mhm.
one of these ordinances would mean to me versus Jerry, or somebody that's more even with the freeway, because there
Right.
was the discussion on
because-
the height of the freeway
Yeah,
and
and
the
you
road
certainly
bed.
have that, you certainly have that because of the overpasses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I
it's,
can-
no, I have some, actually, I just get a kind of a feel for what you're looking at. I drove down both north and south and north on 167
Yeah.
with my digital camera, just to
Yeah.
get the road perspective of all the properties along
Mhm.
167.
Yeah.
To get a perspective it was at 60 mile per hour speed for the most part. So you kind of get a perspective how much visibility a sign will have and how much time somebody will actually notice the sign as you're driving down.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at some of that information and go from there. The other thing is that none of the ordinances that were drafted in the past, no SEPA review has been done on, so that still has to be done too. So what I want to do is get a nice packet of materials put together for your next planning commission meeting,
Okay.
where we can discuss and then come up the direction we want to go. If we stay with the direction into the 150, and that's the way we want to go, and if that's the figure we want to go with, then we'll put the SEPA out for, and what we might just do, put the SEPA out for the maximum size sign, and if we drop back, then SEPA will cover it.
Right.
So we'll probably be looking at that route, so that we don't have to
Yeah.
come back.
Right, we don't have to do it twice, so.
No.
Yeah.
85 square feet sounds a little small, doesn't it, really?
Well, you know, 85, that's 8 by 10 feet. Yeah.
8.5 by 10 foot.
Yeah, so, you know,
Yeah.
depends on your perspective, you know, along any, if you drive along any commercial areas, and you can kind of get an idea of, like, there's a lot of cities that do 85 square feet. You drive to CTAC, and a lot of their signage is transferred to the 85 square feet. They used to have signs that are 400 square feet.
Oh, yeah.
There was and the problem that you got is everybody wanted bigger and bigger signs and more signs.
Yeah.
You got so much clutter, nobody could figure out what they were looking for.
Exactly.
And that was actually used as CTAC was used as an example for highway signage, not how to do it.
Not how to do it, really.
But if you get a sign too small, you're gonna, up there looking and
Yeah.
run into somebody.
Well, it turns out
Rear end the car.
it turns out for normal arterial speeds in commercial areas, 85 square feet is about the size of sign that you're not creating this clutter and blocking other people's signs, but it's big enough for people to notice it and for the business to advertise. When it comes to freeway signage, you may be looking at the bigger signs because of the higher speeds dealing with it versus arterial
I
speed.
think the National Sign Board, or whatever, the sign makers have some formulas for that too.
Yeah, there's some, they do have
Yeah,
stuff for
yeah,
that.
they-
I guess I was talking the freeway signs.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, freeway signs.
So and really, that's what we had really talked about, was that, you know, we've got the signage. I think we're pretty happy with the signage in the city, but it was the freeway district
Yeah.
That was
signage
the
was.
focus of the whole thing.
Right,
Yeah, like I
was
said,
that needed to be up.
you have to take that on the flip side is how are the other business owners going to, respond to that?
Yeah.
We're getting a specialized number of property owners get bigger signage
Right.
versus us.
Yeah, but then they're in areas where the speeds are much slower. I think of Stewart Road or something that,
Well, you
know,
can
where
say
they
that,
might be.
but that is still not.
Well, yeah, they can come to a meeting, no, when there's a hearing
Yeah.
and there's an open thing, they can
Yeah.
come in and.
Or buy
that's what
property
the
next to the
intent of it
freeway.
is.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
See, with the example with the C-tax signs, it's exactly what came up. They're giving them an unfair advantage over everybody else. Because
they're next to the freeway.
Because they had signage on the regular arterial
Right.
street plus
Right.
signage on the freeway.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll sell them my property.
Yeah, there you
If
go.
they want a bigger
Right.
sign, they can buy my property.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. But like I said, we'll take a look at it, we'll look at the different perspectives and if it comes out to that's the direction we wanna go, then we'll go that direction.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good. All right, so that gives us, something to look forward to next meeting.
My son's grandfather. Yeah, I put signs up, I just don't notice it.
All right,
Perpendicular to the freeway
Hmm?
in the back of your building.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference how a sign's situated. If I had a sign in Maple Valley in my yard up there, and I put it recycle, and it was parallel to the road on the fence line. It was there for 2 years. Then I moved it to the side of a building perpendicular to the road.
Yeah.
And I had every other customer come in and tell me what great new sign I had. And it's been there
Didn't know
for
you
2
were here,
years.
yeah, didn't know you were.
So,
well, you can look at it
orientation is
longer.
really important.
I mean, I guess if it's perpendicular, you see it longer versus
Well,
parallel, you know.
People are going by 50 miles an hour, they don't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, and that's precisely it.
But like on the freeway, an 85-foot square sign, by the time the right-of-way is extra wide, adjacent to my yard, so I've got probably 200-300 feet, and then it goes down, probably drops 75-80 feet. You couldn't read that sign from the freeway at 85 square foot.
No, not the way that, when you look at, when you're driving through there, because of the rise coming up through the overpass of the Third Avenue, you could have a substantially tall sign just to see anything from your property. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So how would that 25-foot rule,
Well,
how would you do that in that situation?
well, again, that's CTAC, that's not.
I know, but let's say if you
It
were
would
to adopt
still-
something like that here, I'd still be down at maximum 25 feet from my grade, right?
You'd still be down at that.
So it'd still be
You still would,
50 feet below the freeway.
it still would be difficult to, if not impossible.
If you thought of a blimp, a little floating blimp.
Or fill in 25 feet.
That's a sign.
That's a sign too, isn't it? Because I said that, I
Those are
figured.
prohibited.
Your property's 50 feet below too?
Probably something like that, yeah, maybe 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said,
All the buildings are in front of it.
we'll take a look and see what the situations are, and like I said, Jim put together a lot of information, and
Did you ever find that information?
yeah, we.
I was able to locate some, and I have like the
Yeah.
photographs that were taken and the
It's a matter of
comparisons
digging
and
it out again,
you know,
looking at it.
Okay.
That's why I don't have much here, and when I get back from vacation, I'll be concentrating on
There
it.
we go.
All right.
Give us a good start.
Yeah, yeah.
Give us a good start on it.
Just a little end note of what it was you did forward it to council.
Right.
It's an interesting story, and I copied parts of the minutes, and Jack has not had a moment to really read the whole thing.
So
Yeah, we did forward it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought we did.
I know, I thought we were done with it, I think we said we were done with it.
But when did it get there?
Did it get there?
I don't know.
Early 2012.
Okay, well, and then, yeah, all right. So
And they,
then-
and I believe if we
Yeah.
found their minutes, and I looked for minutes, I believe if we found their minutes,
Yeah.
it was tabled, if it
Yeah.
was noted at all.
So why don't they just vote on whatever we gave them already?
Yeah, the only issue, even if you had forwarded already,
Mhm.
the problem is that you being the hearing body,
and you didn't.
You didn't do the paper before.
Right.
Send it to
Sure.
the Department of Commerce.
All right.
And by then, Jay left when he got the election result,
Yeah.
put in his notice when he got
Yeah.
the election result.
Yeah.
So that was what happened.
Yep. Okay.
Which is understandable,
So-
and the minutes are really spotty.
They'll certainly revisit it and come up with the recommendation, and
We'll get it
we'll
right.
go through all the proper procedures,
Sure.
so it doesn't have to go
Yeah,
back to you
yeah.
guys again.
Right.
We'll get
All right,
clarity.
we get it done this time, the
Yeah.
council minutes and the ordinance, without doing a public
Yeah, we can get the,
request.
do we have that in PDF, we can just,
Well, you know what, the minutes died too.
huh?
The minutes,
Mhm.
on the X drive,
Yeah.
I went there and, Amy should be able to get them for us. She was gone last week at a conference, but my access to the minutes, they end in like September.
Huh.
Because I was trying to figure out how when you were originally brought in before council, and it ended there. So Amy is the one, to get that from, and I'll make a note too.
Me.
Yeah, if we can find
I got
a PDF file, we'll just email them over
Yeah.
to you, Jerry.
It was never.
And I still owe you, answer on the
And that
one.
whole period is really difficult.
you did.
What were
For this, the landscaping setback?
No, your, scale.
We'll just get up and.
Oh,
okay.
I haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you did say you didn't think it'd be an issue, so.
Yeah, I suspect them will be, but.
So I'll put it
All right.
in Amy.
Well, let's, so we're gonna be discussing that next meeting. Let's move on to other items of interest for planning commissioners. The status of, Commissioner Justin.